Welcome to Aussie Afterlife podcast. This episode, well, all the other episodes and anything I've possibly said ever contains explicit language, so not for younger listeners unless you're an actual cool parent, or for those without a sense of humour. So remember to grab your headphones for the paranormal investigation episodes. And you also get to listen to my voice super close to your ear. So that could be good or bad or both. I don't really know, but anyway. But what I want you to do is grab a drink, relax, and enjoy. And come into my version of the afterlife. Could be heaven, hell, purgatory. It's probably hell, but what of it? Enjoy.
Well, welcome back to Aussie Afterlife. This is episode 62. And this episode, I'm going back to my roots and I'm talking the original Aussie Afterlife. So me retelling my listener stories, ghost stories. So this whole episode will just be about pure ghost stories and me retelling them in my finest storytelling form that I love to do. And yeah, and this is what made Aussie Afterlife Aussie Afterlife. I know I've done a lot of paranormal stuff lately, but I thought, let's bring it back to some really cool, amazing listener stories that I actually have not shared yet. And they've been patiently waiting in my inbox. I'm very sorry it's taken so long, people that have lovely shared them with me. But I really can't wait to retell them and get back to my storytelling nature, which I absolutely love storytelling. But they're not just stories though, they're experiences, they're true experiences, but I love the process of really getting in there and feeling the emotion of what could have been felt at that time, or like really putting through everything through the headphones you're listening to or the speaker that you're listening to really be there at the scene. That's my thing. I love storytelling and I've missed it, to be honest. You know, don't get me wrong, I love my paranormal stuff, but I really want anyone out there, if you guys don't want to come on my podcast, that's fine. But if you guys want to send in a story, I don't care how small, I really want to get back to doing that too. So please do not hesitate. Send me in your stories. Written, audio, I can dictate off the audio. That's no problem. Or even just reach out and we can discuss what the best thing is for you. But I think everyone's experience, no matter how big or small, is super important. And I really want to give voice to that. And I don't just want to just give voice to people that want to have their voices out. Sometimes people are just like, yeah, I'm happy just to type something out quickly and send it. Then by all means, I appreciate that much, just as much as anything else. But yeah, I hope you guys love my 3-parter that I recently did about the Beechworth investigation with Date Night with the Ghost Gang and Beyond the Veil Australia. So please remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to do on all different platforms so they're on. They're amazing, and there's going to be more parts coming out on Beyond the Veil podcast, and also Date Night with the Ghost Gang are doing their own thing. So even though I've done my own episodes, all 3 content creators are completely different. Like, we are giving our own perspective. So every time you're going to listen to it, it's going to be different. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm listening to Sam talk about the same shit 3 different times. Hell no. So please like, follow, subscribe. I have all their links in my bio, in my Instagram, in my Spotify, like everything. Like, you can easily just search them up. They're there. They're awesome. But anyway, apart from that, how much do you love like kids, you know, and dogs? Like, yeah, I don't know. Does anyone ever feel like, doesn't matter how good you are or how much you try, you're always just like the Joker, like putting on, you know, like lipstick, just like kind of shit. I swear to fucking God. Like my son here has his friend over here at the moment. The poor little fucker got to go out to the movies today and do everything else and have his friend over for whatever. And apparently he is the most underappreciated, underloved, neglected child that's ever existed in human net. I just love having a teenager. It's like, oh, really? Oh, cool. when I was your age, I had to catch the bus everywhere. Like, had no money at all. I had a 50 cents if I was lucky. And that's like nothing against my parents. It was just the way it was. And now he's like, oi, I need some money to go to the movies. And I'm like, fucking oi? I'm like, oi, pardon? Like, it's what money? He's like, yours? And I'm like, cute. I'm like, into the dishwasher. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, well, no, we're not going anyway. So finally, head to head, he gets empty dishwasher, all that sort of stuff. I'll do everything, please. Let me go to the movies, please, 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 please. And I'm just like, oh, because I'm literally a soft cock, right? I'm the most flaccid you'll ever see or meet in your life. And I'm sorry, that's really grotesque to say. But if you ever met more of a limp dick, it's me. I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. Because in my head, I'm sitting there going, good. That means I get a few hours without him trying to like annoy the shit out of Eden or annoy me. Like, he's busy and he needs to be busy. He's ADHD. He's like me. Get him out. Cool. It's worth the money. And if I get my house cleaned a little bit at the same time, I'm like, good parenting. Anywho, then Eden just had her 12th birthday. My baby is 12. And I put so much thought into her birthday this year. Like, I did all this sort of stuff. I got, these ugly New Balance shoes. Like, they're these sneakers, these New Balance sneakers that have come out in fashion. I owned those horrendous things when I was about 11. And I hated putting them on. Like, I literally put them on and went to school and I'm like, I want to kill myself. Like, I'm like, I hate these fucking shoes. $20, I reckon, New Balance were. And here am I, like, wearing those to school and I'm just like, I hate these shoes, so embarrassing, blah, blah. I literally just spent $160 on the same pair of New Balance shoes. So she begged me for it. And I'm like, they're ugly, don't you? And she's like, no, they're not. They're like slay. And I'm like, they're slay. I'm like, they're slay. I'm like, I wish. Like, and now people are even drawing freckles on their face now. People with clear skin, with no freckles, right? And I have freckles. I've had a lot of freckles my whole life. Half a redhead. I don't have red hair, but I've got the skin, right? Thanks, Craig. But like, it's like, I've hated my freckles for so long. And like, I don't now. I love them now. But as a child, I felt like no one had freckles. It was just me. I literally used to find out like how I put lemon juice on my face and went out in the sun to burn them off. And there was like this cheap bleaching cream that you could get for your face. I put that on my face at like the age of 11 and 12. And now idiots are actually getting like these fake little pencil things and drawing freckles on their face. And I'm like, if I was a young child now, I would be the coolest thing ever. I would have had my $20 shitty New Balance shoes with my real freckles I didn't actually have to paint on. Oh my God. Anyway, life is insane. Life is crazy. Although I wouldn't be caught dead wearing those New Balance shoes. But anyway, I love my kids. And I'm happy. I'm very thankful that they do live this privileged life. And as I said, there's nothing against my parents. It's just different time. But, my kids are that privileged. They actually don't know what it feels like to be not privileged. Like, they think if I say no to like going to Macca's, it's just like, you'd swear I just said you could not have dinner for 3 nights a week. It's just like, it's good, but at the same time, I don't know. What does anyone else think? Like, is it just me, or I'm really struggling with this generation of like children or people that are so entitled to things, but it's just like, mate, you had to work so hard just to get here. And people are like, oh yeah, this. I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, now I'm bagging on and really going off me thing about that. But anyway, love my children. Happy that they don't know what triorma means, so that's good. So, but apart from that, I've been pretty busy. I redid my whole backyard. Yeah, I'm like this independent woman and stuff now. It's really cool. I literally I ripped up my whole entire backyard. I was heaving rocks. Like, I was doing everything. Like, I was like impressed. I was like, who is this Hercules? Like, I was even at Bunnings. This old woman's just like, oh my God, how are you doing that? I'm like, I don't know. I was that hyper fixated where I'm like, I want to make this better. I did all this. That's great. I had this dirt patch and I'm like, I want to try and grow grass. So obviously I have a dog. I knew it wouldn't work out well, all right? I'm not stupid, but like, tore everything out. I've raked everything. Put down the soil. I got these boot things that you stomp, and I couldn't actually get 2 of them on. So I had to do one, stomping the whole thing to aerate the soil. I did all this by myself. with the lawn seat down. They put more stuff. So the dog has never shat there, really, ever. He's decided to go away from the stones and my other plants, which he usually likes to, just my beautiful new soil. He has tarnished my whole entire lawn seed with shit. And not only that, he likes to kick it away, like just kick it everywhere. So now I've got dirt everywhere and there's like bits with no seed, and I'm just like, I'm going to either kill you or myself. It's like, not really, that was a bad joke, but like, does anyone feel like they just hit these walls in life where it's like you try so hard to do the right thing and it just ends up not that? But anyway, I'm very lucky, very blessed. I'll never be getting another dog again, when Kramer decides to, when nature takes its course kind of thing, when he's lived a great life. He's still living a great life and I intend to keep it that way. But when it decides to cease, there'll be no other dogs. I literally have 3 cats, 3 lizards and a snake. None of them give me any type of, even my heart doesn't even palpate with them. Like, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Whereas Kramer, it's like boom. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, literally like, sorry. Beagles, don't get them. He's a sweetie pie and he's a big buff head and everyone thinks I'm an asshole for not, but he sleeps on the end of my bed every night because if he doesn't, he woofs at the door. Like, he's an asshole. But in my head, I'm like, I made a commitment. So Kramer is with me, the end of my bed, looking at me with his big goggly eyes constantly. And the kids love him, I love him too. He's a good boy. Well, he's not really a good boy, but he's Kramer. Like, the name couldn't have suited him better. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Let's get to episode 62, and I'm just going to title this Ghost Stories. So here is a few of my listener stories that they've kindly sent in, and please remember to either send yours in or get in touch with me via my email at aussieafterlife at outlook.com or via Instagram or anything like that, which is at aussieafterlife. Please DM me, have a chat with me. But I actually really want to get yours. I miss storytelling. So let's get it. I want you to grab a drink, relax, and enjoy. And don't get a beagle. Enjoy.
Welcome to story number 1. This was sent in by Luke, one of my listeners, who is a correctional officer. So these stories, 2 experiences, are set in a prison. And we all know that prisons hold a lot of emotion, a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, just everything you probably don't ever want to experience. So I hope you enjoy these. So I'm going to take you there tonight to Luke's own experience of working as a correctional officer. 2 of the scariest experiences that he's ever had, and he doesn't mean from the living. Here are 2 ghost stories from Luke. Thank you. Seven years ago, I became a correctional officer here in Townsville. And in those 7 years, I've experienced a few paranormal things inside the wire that I cannot explain. My first experience was on my very first night shift as a detention unit observations officer, and it was pretty interesting. We had a prisoner on 30-minute observations in cell 3, which was the last cell at the end of the hallway on the right. And you had to walk past cell 4, which is on the same side to get to cell 3. Each cell has a rectangular viewing window, which is around 500 millimeters high by about 150 millimeters wide. to be able to shine your torch in to make sure the prisoner hasn't hung themselves and they're just basically still breathing. Now, cell 4 was empty, but every time I walked past this night, which was every 30 minutes, to check on cell 3, it felt like someone was standing at the viewing window of the cell 4 door watching me, and I would get mad goosebumps and real bad mojo vibes. This continued until I went down for the 3 a.m. obs. After I did the obs, I stopped in front of cell 4's door and looked in. By rights, I should have been able to see the window at the back of the cell, which would have been letting in light from the perimeter fence lights. But nope, absolute pitch blackness covered the inside of that window, like someone was definitely standing there. But there were no features, almost like a shadow figure. I pretty much told myself, righto then, just continue on my way. Kept doing my obs and taking note of the feeling from cell 4. I finished my shift at 7 a.m. and pissed off out of there. Still to this day, I get wigged out by that cell, and it's been 7 years. The prisoners say that there's a young girl that lives in there, but we all know what little girl spirits really are, don't we? My next experience happened on another night shift. I took to going into the education block on a night shift to watch YouTube for fatigue management, as we do 12-hour shifts and aren't allowed to sleep. So it's from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and the shifts are very long, as we're pretty much just waiting around for shit to go south with the prisoners fighting in their cells, or a cellie buzzing up to let us know that, their roommate's trying to hang themselves or they're having a heart attack. Anywho, so, like I said, I took to going into the education block as there was only one computer and I didn't have to watch shows like Maths or Farmer Wants a Wife or some other crap show that the other officers wanted to watch in the mess hall where we used to congregate on a night shift. So, now I'm by myself. Now I get to watch one of the paranormal channels that I follow. Then I see this thing moving out in my peripheral, so I hit pause. Turned my head to the right and looked up to the ceiling. And there, a shadow person, upside down, crawling along the ceiling slowly. Like legit when Homer walked the pig on the ceiling in the Simpsons movie, spider pig, but really this was shadow pig. But it moved along in a constant motion, then slid through the square finned aircon vent and disappeared. I sat there for a bit looking at the vent, and then I thought again, righto, that just happened, the fuck? I turned back to the computer, pushed play and pretended it never happened. My thinking is, if they're not hurting me, then you do you, boo. I'm just here trying to stay awake. Now it's time for story number 2, and this was sent in from one of my listeners, Kim. And this is about the Werribee Mansion and another couple of little experiences. This story is about Werribee Mansion. My cousin's friend worked at the mansion, and he told my cousin that staff often mentioned of some strange things occurring there. So my cousin went to pick him up one night after work, and he was waiting for him to finish and to lock up. But while he was outside waiting, he said a strange mist formed around him and it got very, very cold. He said this was unusual as it was a hot day. Please see the photo attached. So, Sam, please put that on your Instagram. Yes, I will. Thanks, Kim. The photo was taken on the 19th of January 2004 in summer. So due to the heat, it was really uncommon to see this type of mist. Like there was no residue, there was no nothing. It was a hot night. So as far as I know, this photo has not been edited or tampered with, and it came from my cousin's camera and he sent it to me and I trust him implicitly. I did edit the brightness and the contrast just so you can see the shapes a bit more clearer, but other than that, it is completely stone cold the truth. This photo is best viewed in a dark room, and the more you study it, the more you'll see. Now, I don't know whether this is just pareidolia or not, but I think I can clearly see a woman in the bottom right-hand corner, and she looks to be walking along the path with her back faced towards the camera, looking over her right shoulder, and it looks like she's holding hands with a child, perhaps. She has a large brimmed hat and a large 1800s dress on. Looking more just to the right of her head, far right middle of the photo, I could see two people who look like they are sitting on a bench next to the path. The one on the left all in white, and the one on the right with a dark suit and top hat, perhaps. In the middle, left of centre, in front of the fountain in the background, there looks to be another woman in her 1800s dress and a hat with a priest to the right next of her. You can see a white collar and his hands as if he is sitting down. I can also see a face in the grass, bottom left below the hanging branch, dark hair, moustache, beard with dark rimmed glasses on. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Please share this. I really like to hear other people's opinions as well. But I've had a few experiences with weird things happening in the house that I grew up in Ferntree Gully. I heard voices calling my name, heard footsteps, lights turning on and off. The hallway was spooky as hell and I hated it as a kid. I caught on fire once, and another time electrocuted myself as my bed caught fire, and dreamt of a nightmare where a guy cut my hand and I woke up with my finger cut and bleeding. And I wondered if this was all connected somehow. I always had nightmares there. But I also had other paranormal experiences in other people's homes. I saw a child spirit in a white dress at my friend's house, and in another house I saw things move on their own. I did have a witness to that one though. I thought I was mad, but when two of you see the same thing, it can't be your own mind, can it? My mum always said that she could see spirits and saw them at the foot of her bed often. My dad and I always thought that she was mad, until I heard and saw, and eventually my dad heard the spirit calling my name when I wasn't living there anymore. So it was kind of hard to believe, but I don't know. I still think I'm a bit skeptical because I'm a big believer in science and things that can be explained, but those things, I cannot find an explanation, and I love it. So, story number 3, well, actually, the next couple of stories are from one of my listeners, Alicia. Thank you so much, Alicia. I love these. So let's get to it. The first one is called The Father. So, here's a little background. My father is religious, brought up Catholic, but is now Christian. He only believes in the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, and says everything else is not real. So he never believed the things he heard were anything more than him being tired from long shifts and standard family life. But I 100% believe he had interactions with spirits. He was a prison guard at Bogo Main Road Jail in the 80s up until it closed in the early 90s. All the stories he would tell me happened when he worked the night shifts. When he would perimeter walk, he could hear footsteps crunching on the ground like someone was following him. When he stopped, the footsteps stopped. When he walked, the footsteps continued. He said it was like hearing his own footsteps. and another softer set of footsteps, but no one was ever there. He would be in the tower overlooking the yard, and he would hear the footsteps crunching on the ground below. When walking through the prison, he would hear the people in the showers. He would go and check, but there was no one in the showers. He would hear men talking and laughing in the common areas, but no one was ever there in the common areas. He would hear men talking and laughing in their cells. But as he got to it, everyone in the cells was asleep. A little disturbing history on Boggo Road Jail. It is reported that in 1 year, 3 prison officers died by suicide. Over the entire history, it was recorded that 4 staff members died. Over 100 inmates have died at Boggo Road Jail. Natural causes, suicide, murder, 42 executions by hanging. This is all recorded deaths, but I honestly wonder how many were not recorded. My next story is about a sort of an intertwined dream that I had with my eldest child. Last year, my daughter, we'll call her L, who's 16, was dating this guy, we'll call him W, and he was 17. My husband is autistic and can pick up on people's vibes instantly. My husband disliked W from the moment he looked at him. I was just happy that my kid was happy. Within weeks, I could see why my husband picked up on those bad vibes. This kid was not good. We knew we couldn't tell L not to date W because any teenager would just push back hard, so we had conversations with her about his behaviours and how we saw him in a different light. A few months into their relationship, right before I went to sleep, I would ask the universe, what am I going to have to deal with this situation? What is the biggest thing that I'll have to deal with? How can I help my daughter? I could just foresee things being absolutely horrible. For about a month, night after night, I was shown the same thing. Me asking my daughter a question. You have to decide, if something happens and only one of you can survive, who is it going to be? You or the baby? Al and W had a fight. W pulled his usual crap and Al finally broke up with him, thank God. It took a few days after the breakup, but my daughter blocked him on everything and was finally done. The morning after she blocked him, she came out of her bedroom, crying heavily. I comforted her, asking her what was wrong, and she told me it was a dream that had made her so upset. So I asked her, well, what happened in the dream? What happened? She told me she had to say goodbye to a baby. She said she was holding a baby and she was crying in the dream. And she said goodbye to the baby and the baby just slowly disappeared from her arms. And then she woke up just bawling her eyes out. I don't really have much more to say on that topic, but the coincidences are really crazy, so I thought I'd just share it. It might mean nothing, but it could mean everything. But I'm just happy that my daughter's okay. My next story is about my prophetic dreams. I am a vivid dreamer. I have dreamt quite a few times about being attacked and have woken my husband because of heavy breathing and muffled screams. The only Bible verse I can remember from my every second weekend religious upbringing is John 3:16. I have said that verse in dreams and it has detached things from me. Although, on a brighter note, my favourite dream, I was walking past an ATM and there was a huge amount of money in an envelope sticking out of it. My first and surname was on the envelope and I pushed it into the machine. A few months later, I got an email from Woolworths, who I hadn't worked for many years, saying they had realised they'd stuffed up my pay and 1,000 people, like 1,000 others, and I was owed some back pay. They didn't tell me how much. I wasn't too worried. I thought, oh wow, what a score. Awesome. So I gave them my updated bank details and within a few days, over $2,500 landed in my bank. which is pretty much the exact same amount as my dream. But my least favourite dream was I was at work in November, December 2021. I had a dream that it was going to flood, and I kept seeing the numbers 2 and 3, 3 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 2, just randomly shooting through the floodwaters. I went to work the next day and was talking about it with my work colleagues. And I said, pretty sure we're due for a flood. It's Queensland, it floods every 10 years or so, so maybe 2023 or 2032, who knows? Didn't think anything of it until Christmas. Then New Year's, February, was the start of the flood in 2022. That flood went from February to March, the second and third months of the year. I have more dreams, but these are the ones that stick with me the most. Thanks for reading. I love your podcast. I love that you're using your platform and your voice to spread woo-woo shit that happens in people's lives to a broader audience and helping people feel validated, seen, and maybe even flipping the script on some of the fences. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Alicia. Well, so I hope you liked my episode of Ghost Stories. Aussie Afterlife, getting back to Aussie Afterlife. This is how I started, which is retelling other people's stories, and I love to do it. I've might have evolved a little bit. I hope you guys like it. Please give me feedback, but I want your stories. I want to keep doing this. I love this. So please get in touch with me. I don't care how short the story is, or if you think, oh, it's not really, I don't care. Just send it in to me, aussieafterlife@outlook.com, or even hit me up on my Instagram. Just have a chat with me. I'm always available. I really look forward to hearing from you soon, and I want your stories. I want your true experiences, even ones that you think, as I say, people are like, oh, I don't think it's good enough. It's like, it doesn't have to be scary. It can be about loved ones. It can be just weird, cool coincidences that have happened. It doesn't have to be this big, massive, scary, paranormal thing that's happened. It can just be anything that you cannot explain or something that means a lot to you. Really important, yeah? So I want to thank you all, and I really look forward to getting back to my storytelling. So that was episode 62, and that was Ghost Stories. And I can't wait to bring you more. So please reach out. I can't wait. Have a great week, okay? Goodbye.